It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
Welcome to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Well, greetings and welcome in to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 173 today. Really glad that you're with us, getting ready to enjoy this entire hour of clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. If you can join us and be clothes-free while listening, so much the better. But if not, if you are at work or at a store or a place where you just can't get naked today, that's okay. We are just glad that you are here to learn and enjoy and express your interest in naturism, nudism, clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. We have the hot tub is fired up, ready to go, 104 degrees. The pool is in immaculate shape this morning. Just got it cleaned earlier today. The grill is going full bore, and as I look down over the patio area, Dava Adams is our grill master today. She was on the show back in July of 2024. She flew down here, got in last night, and she's out there cooking up a storm, and we cannot wait for lunch a little bit later today. You know we have fruits and vegetables off to the right, cold drinks off to the left, hot drinks inside, and in the back and in the sides outside the pool area. We have a hammock, we have putting greens, we have bocce ball action inside the pool area. We have that coveted cigar bar. We have extra towels, chairs, and lotion. So here we are. We are inviting you in for this next hour. Nothing to do except come in, get clothes-free, and enjoy the wind, the breeze, the sunshine on your skin, and dive in the water. And let's just have a very good time today, enjoying, once again, we can even say it together, clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. Well, on today's show, we have Jenny Agee. She's one of the 7 AANR Trustees. She's also a big deal out in AANR Northwest. And, of course, Lisa Monroe, who's coming in right now, will do her segment together. In fact, I think I hear some music under my voice. Let's listen together. Oh, yes, I hear it. I'm sure you do, too. That can only mean one thing. It's time for the great, the terrific, the completely over-the-top, fully clothes-free and fully smiling, our Naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. And here she is, the one and only, the one of a kind, the completely clothes-free and fully smiling, our Naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing really well. And you really rolled that that O out a long time, didn't you?
As I was saying it, this popped into my head. You know that guy who, I don't know if it's wrestling or whatever, but he goes, let's get ready to rumble.
Yes,
and it goes on like 35 minutes
yes.
of, I should do that one day. Here she is, the one, Lisa Monroe, and just go on forever. And you'll be sitting there. Hello, Frank. Hello, I'm here. The mic is on. I'm ready to talk. And I'm just still going, I think that'd be hilarious. How about you?
Yeah, I'd be tossing pins and things at you probably by then. Or you can go, apply to be the guy who yells goal when the soccer matches go. You're very well practiced at this.
That's true. Yeah, that's mostly. Is that here too, or is that mostly in Europe or other
I
parts
think
of the
it's
world?
everywhere. I don't know. I will be honest. I do not watch a lot of soccer, so.
Okay. We had a guy I listened to growing up, and he had a decent voice for announcing, but when they scored, he would suddenly get into a higher pitch. So-and-so going down the ice, so-and-so on the left wing. He shoots, he scores! Where did that come from? But that was his signature line, and he did it on purpose.
Oh, it's funny.
Even though he's long passed away, he's still remembered for that. So I'll be remembered forever. Lisa Monroe going on 35 minutes. I think that should be my goal in life.
Okay, and I'm certain that, that just if you do that, that'll give us all time to go get coffee, read the newspaper, come back when the show starts and when you're all done.
I'll still be going on.
Yes.
So you have to set goals in life. Otherwise, you're not going to achieve anything because
This is
you
true.
didn't set out to achieve anything. So my goal is 35 minutes, no breath, saying, "Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful radio?"
Oh, it'd be fabulous radio. I mean, what more could you want from a radio show or
Yeah,
a podcast or anything but a
yeah.
long one note thing going, okay, it works.
Anybody who has a record player, you remember what those are, right?
I
Phonographs.
do remember
Yeah,
what those are.
and they are coming back. So maybe some of the younger folks have one now, but sometimes your record skips, so you have to hit it.
Yes.
And they'll probably be hitting whatever they're listening, to us on their phone, their computer, like, oh, and they're hitting it like, oh, it must have stuck, must have stuck. It's just me going on 35 minutes. I think that'll be great. Maybe not. Maybe I should not do that. Yeah.
I think maybe you should.
All right, Lisa, lots of things to get into today. And we have Jenny Agee coming up a little bit later in the show, part one of her interview. You will be amazed if you don't already know this, and I certainly won't go into details because it's too much to remember, but you'll be amazed at how many things she does for AANR, not just involved, but leading, committee chair of this, committee chair of that. It's almost overwhelming, and she does work, by the way. She has a job. So all these jobs for AANR are volunteer, and not only does a lot, but does a lot very well. It's one thing to sign up and sure, I'll do that, and then everything falls, to heck in a handbasket, as we've seen before, but not with her. So I think you'll be quite impressed.
Well, we've mentioned this on the show before that the busier you are, the more you can get done. And, I used to not believe that, but I do because you find the time, you manage your time, you do something. It's almost innate that you'll figure out how to get everything done. And I'm assuming that's how she manages to do it as well, because you've told me several of the things that she was involved with, and that lady's busy.
Mm-hmm. You'll hear on the interview, and I don't remember if it's today, part one, or next week, part two, but this whole ambassadors program was the idea of Linda Weber. Our current president was on the last two shows. And she saw Jenny at some point, whenever it was, and she just walked up to her and said, "Hey, Jenny, I have an idea. Are you interested?" And Jenny's first reaction was, "Sure, whatever it is, I'll take it on.
Wow.
I'll be the chair or whatever." And she said that was before even knowing what she was talking about or what the details were. That's the kind of go-getter she is. Just sign me up and I'll do it. We need more people like that in the world.
We certainly do. And that's someone who has naturism in the forefront, who's working to make this better, that's willing to do anything to have that happen. So I'm impressed, very much so.
Yeah, very much so. So we'll get to her a little later today, and then part two next week. Okay. We have a Patreon page. I think everybody knows this because it's on every posting we put out there in terms of the show on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, etc. And we also mention it on every Saturday show. We gave up paid work to do this show, but we did it on purpose. It wasn't like a surprise, like, whoa, the money stopped coming in because we stopped sending out receivables. Like, what happened here? No, we knew. But we did it for the pure reasons, and I think everybody knows that. And if it weren't, we'd be out there putting behind a paywall. You want to see today's show? You want to hear today's show? Send us $50. We never do that.
No.
But we did encounter some expenses, which we should have planned for a little better, I suppose. And we asked for help from the community, and they've come through with flying colors. And we could not thank you enough. And we try to do extra things for you every chance we get for supporting this show. And on each show, we try to celebrate and honor a couple of people who have recently signed up. Lisa Monroe, who do we have today?
Today we have Sam and James, and we really appreciate both of you.
Now, we don't know if Sam is a male or a female.
No.
It could be Samuel. It could be Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
It could also be Bob or Mary, but badly misspelled. What do you think of that?
By someone we all know. It's okay. Never mind. Because you wrote the show notes. Okay.
It's true. So, Sam, thank you very much. We truly appreciate you being a part of the PPPs. And James, thank you as well. We appreciate both gentlemen. Both gentlemen or lady and gentlemen.
Both
very much.
Peoples. Both
That's
PPPs.
Right. That's right. Both PPPs are highly thanked and appreciated. You are the hostess with the mostest when it comes to merchandise. Anything new on that front?
Well, we dropped our undercover in line with just the red leaf, which is part of our logo, with just the red leaf on it. And believe it or not, we dropped it just a week or so ago.
Mhm.
And guess what? We've already sold a few items, so it's done very well.
Wow, very good.
Mhm.
And how do they find all these goodies?
They can go to our website at nakednudistandnaturist.com, click on the NNN shop on the menu bar, and browse away.
All right, easy enough. I think even I could follow those instructions, so you
I
did well.
think so.
All right.
Hopefully, anyway.
All right, well, we found this article. It was in the, I think, Miami Herald
Mm-hmm.
on February 26th. So, what, 9 days ago? It's always hard for me to calculate dealing with February because it's not 30 or 31. So, you always have to make exceptions. And the title of the article is Want to Hang Out Naked on Your Miami Balcony or in Your Yard? What the Law Says. And so we'll read through some of this and discuss it a little bit. It just absolutely floors me and blows me away at what the actual law says about being nude on your own property, on your balcony, at your own pool, etc., and so on and so forth. I guess is a big way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And before we back up to the beginning, Lisa, it says to show that someone committed unlawful exposure of sexual organs,
Mm-hmm.
because it says it's illegal in Florida to expose your sexual organs or be naked in public or on someone else's private property in a vulgar or indecent manner. That's one of the issues I have. I have more. What the heck is a vulgar or indecent manner? What's vulgar and indecent to you might not be to me. And then, here we go. Let's add 100 people. Let's add 10,000 people. We have 10,000 different opinions. It's also against the law to be naked so near thereto as to be seen from such private premises. So what that means, you can't be naked so somebody on their own private property can see you. That means if someone can see you letting it all hang out, especially in a suggestive way, and wants to complain, you could be in trouble with the law.
Mm-hmm.
So again, especially in a suggestive way, what does that mean? There is no definition. So to show that someone committed unlawful exposure of sexual organs while tanning naked on their property, prosecutors would need to prove all 5 of the following, and this is according to jury instructions from the Florida State Bar Association. The person was naked. Well, I think you and I have fit that bill more than once.
Yes.
So we're 20% in trouble.
Yes.
So far. It could be seen from someone else's private property. Now, we both go out of our way to make sure that doesn't happen, but accidents do happen, and not our fault. If you're looking out your window or you have your eyes glued,
Yes.
In our direction, you might see some stuff. You shouldn't be doing that, kind of like the Ann Landers or Dear Abby thing. Don't look through the fence, right?
Exactly. But people do.
Yeah.
People are nosy.
And so at that point, whose fault is it that they saw us nude? We were being discreet. They were not.
Exactly.
Number 3, the nudity was vulgar, indecent, lewd, or lascivious. Again, no definitions for any of those 4 words.
No.
The person intended, and even that word is in quotation marks,
Mm-hmm.
the person intended their nudity to be vulgar, indecent, lewd, or lascivious. How could you ever prove that? You say I intended to do it, and I say, officer, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way to prove anything at all because nothing is defined. And the last one, I love this one, he said facetiously. The nudity, quotation marks, caused offense, end quote, to at least one person. What the living heck? Whatever is offensive to you might not be offensive to me. So you could walk down Main Street and shake it all about and do the hokey pokey and whatever else, and nobody complains, no problem. You can be seen for 1 second in your backyard getting out of the pool naked, and oh boy, sirens are ablazing. I'll turn it over to you. Any thoughts?
Well, there are Karens everywhere. So we really have to keep that in mind, because it's the Karens that are out and, turned loose into the wildlife of public. They are basically like the trolls on the internet, but they're actually a little bit more brazen. They'll get in your face and tell you, as opposed to, the trolls on the internet, hide. But you just never know. Your next door neighbor may be the sweetest person in the world, and then all of a sudden she, or even he, I think they call the he's Kens now. No offense to anybody with those names, but I think that's what they call them. But they could just go, oh my gosh, oh no, 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 I have to call the police. I can't stand this. And, then you're off to the races and you don't know what's going to happen. So you got to be careful.
Now, what about this scenario? This is what scares the living daylights out of me. You're in your backyard or at your pool, clothes on. Let's say you're fully dressed.
Mm-hmm.
You have a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and the neighbor still calls the police and says, hey, I saw him or her naked as a jaybird dancing around like there's no tomorrow. Well, then you're still going to be dealing with the police at that point. Sir or ma'am, I got to report you were naked and dancing around at your pool. Officer, I swear, absolutely not. Well, there's no proof.
Right.
Because we didn't take photos of ourselves. Why would we? And if the neighbor took photos, that I think would be an issue for them. So there's really no way out of this if somebody wants to make a big fuss. At least it seems like to me. What do you think?
They can either see something and become offended when they shouldn't be, or they can lie. And people also lie a lot. So, it's just it's a really hard situation. It goes back to what we talked about the ambulance driver. The ambulance that was stolen. And they only reported the guy's nude. They never said he created any lewd or lascivious behavior, but he was charged with that. Mm-hmm. So just because he was naked. So we're kind of caught in the old catch-22. We are, we're going to get in trouble if we do and trouble if we don't. So it's a real serious issue.
Yeah. So it goes on to say, even if people on their property can see you tanning naked on your property and are offended by that, the state would still need to prove that you intended to be vulgar by being naked. I don't know how you ever prove that. You can, guide a jury one way or the other, but there is no proof. There's no way to prove that. Even a lie detector test isn't right 100% of the time. So this one attorney is a criminal defense lawyer, and he's a partner of, hope I say this correctly, Hager and Schwartz.
Yep.
His name is Brett Schwartz. He had said in a previous article, there's a quote, and it kind of mirrors what we said. Mm-hmm. Vulgar means different things to different people, end quote. Well, there you go. That's exactly the whole problem. If a speed limit is posted 40 miles an hour and you're going 50, you get a ticket for going 10 over. That's easy to understand. Yeah, I was going 10 over and they caught me. Well, being vulgar, what does that mean?
Exactly.
There is no definition. So he said, so I thought at first, okay, Brett Schwartz is going to put this all together for us. But then even he goes on to say, as a criminal defense attorney, basically saying the law is a joke. I mean, he didn't say that. I don't want him coming after me.
No.
I'm not putting words in his mouth.
No.
It says, Schwartz said that generally, if you're on your own property, and then quotation marks, you can probably do whatever you want. I thought, great. But then he goes on to say, unless you were intentionally trying to be vulgar. Well, now we're back to what does that mean, right?
Exactly. And, when I lived in Miami for several years, and I had a 2-story condo. I had a deck on a patio on the bottom, but they had these weird balconies on the second floors off the bedrooms, and they were very high walled. So I don't know if someone was thinking about this or what, but because and no one could see in. If you were sitting down or lying down, nobody could see in unless they had a drone above you. And so it was the perfect place, and it got sun from about 11 o'clock on. And it was the perfect place to sunbathe in the nude. And trust me, I did it every moment I could. Mm-hmm. And because no one could see me, I was safe. I didn't have to worry about it. And, so that gave me such peace of mind. But I probably wouldn't have done it if I'd known anywhere that someone could, peek over and see, because of just these same reasons,
What would you have done? And we'll get into this in a little bit, but what if somebody had walked in on you, the mailman, the UPS, whatever, they just unknowingly walked in, if that's even possible at that point, and they see you naked? Is that on you? Is that on them? What would your response be?
If I'm walking through, let's just say it was this place in Miami, and I'm walking past, there's a huge patio door on a huge patio outside the front of the place. And if I had been walking past that door naked and the mailman saw me, I'm sorry. He can just keep walking, because I have the privilege of privacy in my own home. And I shouldn't have to cover myself because someone might get offended, because it is legal to be naked in your own home. But they'd always put the onus onto the person who wants to be naked, not the people who are milling about staring in your windows. So, I don't know. It's a really tough situation. And, what somebody's problem is not somebody else's.
Well, it goes on to finish up about offenses for, in quotation marks, indecent exposure. A first offense is a first-degree misdemeanor punishable by up to $1,000 and up to a year in prison. Are you kidding me? Just for wanting to get a suntan. Yeah. And a second time can be treated as a third-degree felony, and that's $5,000 and up to 5 years in prison. All because somebody said, I'm offended, or he was vulgar, when maybe you were even fully clothed, as we talked about a little bit earlier. So, it's easy for us to say, but then there needs to be not only a revamping, but a full clarification of what the heck we can do and what we cannot do in the state of Florida. I'm sure you agree.
Exactly. I agree. I mean, we run the risk every time we choose to be naked somewhere where it is not approved, like a resort or a nude beach. We are running the risk of getting that first-degree misdemeanor and fine and possibly time in prison. And that's just utterly ridiculous.
All right, so that's that. Let's move on to the next one here. We talked a little bit on a recent show about discovering naturism for the partner. One partner's fully into it, the other says, "No way in heck! It's rude. It's perverted. Keep your clothes on. I don't want to hear any more about it." And then the partner who's into it, little by little, tries to grease the skids, and it's usually the man trying to get the woman to, just try it, and whatever, they go on forever. And we have found many cases, because people have written to us over time, the woman, okay, I'll take my shirt off in the house, no bra, while I cook, whatever. And then, okay, what the heck, I'll take everything off, but don't make a big spectacle. And if you tell anybody about this, I'm going to be very mad, and the clothes will go on forever. Okay, that's step 2. Step 3, okay, I'll go to the stupid beach with you, but no guarantees that I'll get naked. And it just evolves over time. And you wanted to talk a little bit more about that. And we had, I don't want to say an issue, but something between us in the very early days, something that I was heavily into. And this is not related to naturism, so we won't even discuss what the topic is. And I presented it to you like, hey, isn't this great and cool? And you said, absolutely not. And your exact words were, I don't know what your exact words were. Basically, this is ridiculous, and please don't mention that again. Well, I did. and you said, no, I'm not. Well, you, little by little, as I presented information to you and some evidence, you began to explore it on your own, and you realized, you know what? This is a pretty cool thing. Right. So not related to naturism, but we've had our own situation where old Frank loved it. Not old Lisa, but young Lisa hated it. And now we both embraced it. So it does work if you take your time over time, right?
It really does. And I think a lot of it comes down to trust. And do you trust the person that's, explaining something to you that they enjoy and they want you to participate with? And I think it's, people are funny, it again comes back to that fear of the unknown, something you've never done, something, and so we understand more than most, maybe, this issue between, spouses or partners where one is fully into it, one is not. And it's so we know that dynamic, and we know that it can be overcome, and and people, the other partner can enjoy naturism, but it's also sometimes not easy, and it takes a lot on the second person who is possibly pushing against it to want to go ahead and find out more. So there's a lot of the burden does fall on the person who says, no, I don't want to do that. But and they also have to know that they're okay, your partner's okay if you don't want to join in, but you have to find some kind of common ground.
Yeah, very well said. And if you're married, for heaven's sakes, we hope you're also in love.
Yes, exactly.
We hope the trust is there.
Yes.
And so it begins to evolve over time. And it doesn't always work out, but that's a suggestion. And we've had many listeners try that as well.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk a little bit because you see this more than I do. In fact, you 100% see it more than I do, because I never see it other than when you tell me every single day, which is good. I see the show. I see
Yeah.
the show end. You see the website end.
Mm-hmm.
The explosion in numbers, in listeners, in downloads, in plays, kind of going through the roof all of a sudden over the last month or so. How about that?
It really has, and I keep looking at the website because a lot of times websites take a long time to get going, and there is a certain level out there of hits per day that you make it as successful. I think it's views per day that make it a really successful website, and that's not a whole lot of views. So that shows you that things are that websites are kind of falling away a little bit. Podcasts have taken over. There are other items like oh shoot, there's one I can't think of the name of it, but it's a really big platform for that authors and writers and all kinds of people use for their work. But it's really been amazing to me to see that I will look up and go, what in the heck is happening here? Because there will be double the numbers there were the day before. And
Yeah.
this has been increasing every single day.
Yeah.
And so I think what we want to say here is not that the numbers mean that much to us, but it's the fact that people are finding us and they are staying with us and they are enjoying the shows, because we hear people every single day say, oh, I've caught up on all of them, so I've started back to show one and I'm working my way through again. And we know of a couple of people who've listened to the shows 3 times.
Yeah. Each
And
episode.
I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. So
we have a few listeners who have told us they've listened 5, 6, 7 times
this is
each
true.
episode.
Yes.
Now that's a whole lot of listening going on. But we appreciate that very much.
Yeah, and it goes back to one thing. It goes back to the fact that what you wanted to start this show for, and that was the lack of consistent content for people. And apparently that's what they wanted. And thankfully, we were able to give them that level of enjoyment. And so we appreciate them more than maybe they appreciate us.
Yeah. Yeah. If I weren't getting enough in terms of podcast land, could it be that nobody is getting enough? Could I be the lone wolf? I didn't know. But I thought, let's try this and see what happens. And, here we are, way above. And we don't get into specific numbers here because it would just tick people off in this space. And we're not here to tick people off. We're just here to, as we say multiple times, enjoy clothes-free living for all the right reasons. And that's what it comes back to over and over and over with our listeners when they write to us. They say, you two never swear. You never use foul language. You don't attack people. You don't make fun of people. You don't get into sexual talk or anything else. It just really is pure naturism. And those are the listeners we have, those who want to enjoy clothes-free living for all the right reasons, home, pool, beach, resort, all of the above, one of the above, whatever they want to do. And that's what we provide. And that's a big reason why the explosion has come, because when people find us, and they've been finding us in droves over the last month, more so even than before, and they were finding us in droves even before, but now it's a big boost over the last month. Once they find us, they stay because they realize, they're the real deal, and they really mean what they say. Any last comments before we move to the next topic?
I just thank the people who have come and listened and stayed and enjoyed and have let us know. And, I don't think I don't remember anything other than just really great comments that we've gotten. So these people are wonderful, and they are amazing naturists and amazing people.
Yeah, very much so. I had said any last comments before the next topic, and that's before I looked at the clock, which we do have to watch on Saturday mornings.
Yes.
We have a couple more things to get through. We'll have to save those for next week. Are you okay with that?
That's fine with me.
All right, let's duck out of here, and I'll get to part 1 of my interview with Jenny Agee, one of the 7 trustees for the American Association for Nude Recreation. And Lisa Monroe, if you promise to stay in your current state of dress, which is absolutely nothing on, not even jewelry, for heaven's sakes, and we appreciate that. If you stay in that state of dress or undress, we'll have you back at the end of the show. How's that for a deal?
That works for me. I'll see you guys in a little while.
All right, see you in a bit. The very terrific Lisa Monroe. She does it all around here as she goes hip-hopping her way out of the studio. And I'm telling you, one of these days we should put a clip together, maybe a long video of all of the Lisa Monroe dance moves that she uses coming in, but mostly when she leaves. I think that'd be great. She might not agree with me, so it might not happen, but just a thought on a Saturday morning. Just a reminder, we are the official podcast for the American Association for Nude Recreation. Are you a member? If so, that is absolutely terrific. But if you are not, you can become one today. Just go to AANR.com, follow the navigation through to membership, and within moments, just like Lisa Monroe is and just like I am, you will become a fully fledged member of the American Association for Nude Recreation. How about that for a deal on a Saturday morning? Well, you are listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 173 today. Now let's get to part one of my interview with Jenny Agee. She's one of the 7 AANR trustees, also really big and active in AANR Northwest. Part one with Jenny Agee. We are headed across the country today and quite a bit north to the great state of Oregon to meet a lady who has, like 15 or 20 different volunteer jobs with AANR. Maybe it's 100 by now since the last time I checked, but she does quite a bit, including running the new ambassadors program. We've talked about that quite a bit on the show over these last few weeks. She's also one of the trustees for the national office and a whole bunch of other things. We'll get all of the details out of her in just a moment. But first, let's welcome to the show from Oregon, Jenny Agee. Good morning, Jenny. How are you today?
Good morning. I am very well this morning. Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, thank you for coming in. You have a lot of things going on. And the first thing we want to talk about is the ambassadors program and then your work as a trustee and some other items. But before we do, can you list off all of the titles that you carry with AANR, at least as of today? You'll probably add more tomorrow, but just up till today.
I am the AANR Northwest trustee. I'm in marketing, and under marketing is the ambassador program. And I am the convention facilities chair for both AANR National and AANR Northwest. I'm the marketing social media chair for AANR Northwest. I am trying to think of them all. Nominations chair for AANR Northwest. And I also volunteer within my club as well. I'm the marketing chair for my club as well.
So basically the secret to your success is you just don't sleep at all. Is that fair to say?
That's right. So I have a great friend that made a quote. She said, "You put more on Jenny's plate, she'll eat faster."
There you go. That
Yeah.
isn't the old expression, if you need something done, give it to a busy person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So a lot of people have bought into that philosophy. Therefore, Jenny does it all.
Yeah.
Which club do you belong to out there?
Double Cans.
That's what I thought. And that's where the annual convention will be this coming summer, right?
Yes. And my husband's the chair to that convention.
Yeah. I saw that on, we watched both days of the midwinter conference or convention. And I saw, your husband made a presentation as well. So did he volunteer for this or did you volunteer him against his will, or how'd that take place?
Okay. So kind of funny story. Yeah. Our president knows of our club. Our president knows that I volunteer a lot. And so he told Brett, "I'm going to name you the convention chair, knowing that Jenny's going to do all the work."
Well, there you go. Let's keep it all in the family, right? That's great to hear. You do an amazing amount. I remember when I first exchanged emails with you. Now, usually people put their name, and if they're with AANR, a title. You had multiple titles. I thought, is she putting me on? No, you're not. You really do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you very much. And then just to add to it, you took on the role of a trustee. And a lot of people don't know this, as you and I talked about before we started recording. There are 7 regions. Each region has its own president, but each region also has a trustee that they send to work on, lack of a better term, with the national office and kind of guide AANR along. Is that a pretty good way to put it?
Yes. Yeah. So the trustees, the 7 of us, we are the ones that make changes in the governance manual. And then twice a year, the members get a vote on the things that trustees don't vote on. So we don't have full control of the manual. It's the trustees and the members. And so it just depends on what year it is, who votes where. And so, yeah, pretty much the trustees are in charge of the governance manual. If there's going to be changes in there, we vote on that, and then changes happen.
Okay. And so there's a whole lot of responsibility put on the trustees because you are guiding the ship. You're not just sitting in a back room, sipping coffee and telling Eric or Linda to do stuff. You're actually digging into the minute details and making decisions, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
And nobody tells Eric or Linda to do stuff.
Right. Well, suggest, mildly suggest. It'd be great if you did this.
I still feel like as trustee that we answer to the board, and the board is Linda and Mitch, the treasurer, vice president, president, and the director. We still answer to that level. It's just we're the voting part of it.
Yeah. I remember one time I was leading an organization and we had an employee who was grotesquely underperforming. And that's putting it as nicely and as mildly as I can. Turns out he had been grotesquely underperforming for years, but he was good friends with the guy whom I replaced. So I thought, well, we got to get this guy out of here. He's killing the organization. So started the paper trail, started doing all the stuff you're supposed to do. And a board member called me, said, can you meet me for lunch? I want to talk to you about something. Well, okay. Trustee, board member, same thing. So after we ordered lunch and started eating, he goes, okay, the reason I want to talk to you, he goes, it seems like you're going after so-and-so. So I'm not going after him. He's just not doing anything. He's never done anything. And it's a very weak part of the organization, and we're looking to improve that. He's not willing to improve. In fact, he basically told me, I've done it this way for 20 years. Why would I change now? And he said, well, can you do me a favor? He goes, you probably don't know this, but he's a drinking buddy of most of the people on the board. So we're going to ask you nicely to kind of not do that. So when I told you don't tell Linda or Eric what to do or whoever's in those positions, but you suggest things from time to time, right?
Yeah. We're a team. I would say we're a team. We work together. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to say the least, I backed off that employee, and whatever happened, nothing happened after that. He didn't improve or even try, but life happens. So I was just kind of kidding around about that.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into all of the AANR goodies and all the work you do and that's been going on, let's talk about this ambassador program, and that comes through the marketing team. George Oberly heads that up. I sit in on that as well. Linda Weber sits in on pretty much every meeting as the president. But somehow, some way, I was going to say you must have missed a meeting, and that's when they nominated you. But knowing you, you probably raised your hand first. What is the ambassador program all about?
So how it started, we were at the Northwest Convention at Kinixu Club, and Linda came to that came to that club, and that's when I was sworn in as trustee. And Linda asked if she could talk to me privately, and so she took me to the side and she goes, "Hey, I have a new program. Would you want to run it?" And I'm like, "Yeah," knowing nothing about it. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do that." You don't tell me what to do and how to do it. So it started at the Northwest Convention, and it's been slowly growing and trying to figure out. So it's a brand new program, and so not only is the program new, but also I'm new in my role as trustee, and then also my role as the chair of the program. And so it's been a work in progress, but it's been going very smoothly. What it is there's kind of two facets of it. You have the committee facet, so you have the people that are like hashing out the procedure manual, the handbook, what the ambassadors do, kind of giving them a clear path and direction to go. And then you have the boots on ground side of it. And that's where we're asking people who have been members of AANR for at least 3 years or more, that are in good standing, that already travel or already talk to people, already going out promoting AANR, to do it under an official name. And then they can go to club events, they can go to beaches and hot springs. You have to be careful. If you go to some beaches, you have to get permits if you're soliciting. And so just be mindful of that. But we're just asking people to help us grow membership. There's a lot of clubs that aren't 100% clubs. And Eric calls them no, it wasn't Eric. Let me quote the right person. think it was Ralph, one of the trustees during the meeting. He said, why don't we go after the low hanging fruit? I absolutely agree with that. I think that would be a good start. But for now, we can send ambassadors to places like that. They're going to work with the presidents of their region. They're going to work with the trustees of their region and kind of have it be, you have the president, you have the trustee, and then you can send a group of people out to do the work. Because if you're president or trustee, you're already doing a lot of work. But you can get volunteers to kind of be on the team and help move AANR in a positive direction, to get people to join AANR, because that's the ultimate. We need members, we need growth. Yeah. And so, yeah, they're gonna talk about AANR, what AANR does, some of the talking points that we explained to them during the Zoom meeting that we just had. They tell them about GAT and what GAT does for, which is Government Affairs Team, if you don't know, what GAT does for AANR, how they watch all the bills and find things that could harm us as nudists. And if you're enjoying the nudist lifestyle and you're not part of AANR, that just doesn't make sense. You should be part of AANR because they're going to bat for you. And so we had, I think there was 13 people on our Zoom, which is huge for our first meeting. I was like, wow, that's exciting. And so people are really excited. We got tablecloths ordered. We're getting full names of how people want their lanyards on their badges to look. And we're going to start shipping stuff out to them so they can hit the ground running.
Wow, that's very good. Now, on the AANR website, when you click on the ambassadors program, it's near the top. Jeff at the AANR office said, I have 5 boxes. And one of the boxes is the ambassador program. And it talks about meeting with or speaking with prospective members or first-time visitors at the club, kind of like you talked about. We have an AANR club, but not everybody is a member. So you might say, hey, anybody not an AANR member? Let me talk to you for 2 minutes if I can. Or somebody showing up for the very first time. You say, well, welcome to such and such a club, Lamitans or whatever club it is. Have you thought about joining AANR? And you can go from there. But it also says festivals, community fairs, regional events, basically anywhere and everywhere you can find a potential member, they can go. And you mentioned, I think, beaches a few moments ago. And one of the requirements is they have to do 3 contacts per month. Is that correct?
That is, but that question was addressed at our meeting because there's some of the members of the committee that live where everything closes down. Wintertime, they're closed for 4 months. There are no events. You can't get anywhere, do anything. So Linda and I are kind of working on what else they can do. So we're thinking that we could have ambassador program in the meet and greet, and then the ambassadors could take one a month, and that would count. They could do written materials. We don't really want people to do live interviews because you don't know what the stance the news person is, and if you say one wrong thing, it could be harmful for AANR. But if you did it in type, you could make sure. So like publications, some social media aspects, but it has to be big things. It can't just be a post, hey, join AANR. It has to be like something significant to be counted as one of the 3 a month. So we're trying to work that out too, because Linda's like, oh yeah, I'm from sunny California, nothing closes. And so you got people from the North and the Midwest and the East that are, the top of the United States. Things close. It gets cold.
Oh yeah. If they don't have an indoor pool at their particular club, they're more likely to close than not. Although some stay open if you just want to walk around or have coffee or lunch or whatever. But that does make sense. Now you have 13 now, but I'm guessing when it's all said and done, you'd like to have a few hundred to go around the country.
Yes. So our target for this year, because if everybody does their tasks that they're supposed to do, the 3 a month and recruiting and all that, they get a free AANR membership for a year. And so we have to budget that because the money has to come from somewhere. And so our budget this year is for 50 strong, active ambassadors. So we don't cap it at 50 though, because you have some people that are excited go-getters, and you have some people that'll dabble in it and then just, I'm not interested in this, or it ain't working for me. But the ones that will move to the point of being good enough to get their free year membership will be ones that work really hard. But we have a number of 50. And that's just for this year, because we just want to see what it's doing. What are the numbers going to be? George is really good with numbers. And so I'm sure he's going to track this very well. And then also we have a QR code. We don't take people's name, phone number, email addresses on beaches. We don't do that. So they will have a QR code to scan, potential members, I mean. And then we also are going to put the QR code on the back of the lanyard, so that's always with them. Just, I mean, there's some places where you don't want to pack a tablecloth and a house key and all your things. You can just wear your badge.
Yeah, there are very few things worse in life, at least to me, when you're on the beach, you're enjoying the sunshine, the sand, the cool breeze, and some marketing person comes up, and oftentimes it's for condos or a new housing development.
Yeah.
Hey, can I talk to you about some real estate? It's like, no, I came here to enjoy the beach. I'm never that rude, but that's what I feel like saying.
Right.
So you're right. If you just go up to people, willy nilly out of the blue and say, hey, can I talk to you about AANR? You might not get a great response. You might, depending, but people go to the beach to enjoy the beach. So they have various options available. Yeah. So you're going to cap it at 50 for this year, but if you get 51, we can increase the budget. Is that what you're saying?
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so. Yeah. And so I actually, that's a level that I don't have, because that's the marketing budget.
Okay.
I put in how much I thought that the ambassador program would take. And so we got approved for that budget, but then it's like, I don't know how strict they are with the AANR's budget. I don't know if they can be like, well, we got 51 really good ones. I don't know.
Yeah, every organization is different, and I don't know the answer either. I know when I ran organizations, I had some funds I could just transfer money over to cover it. Other situations, I'd have to go to the board. Hey, we need an extra X number of dollars here. Need you to approve it at the next meeting, or we're not going to get whatever we need. So I'm sure AANR operates one of those two ways, or maybe both, depending on the day. But to be clear, and we made, Linda Weber, when we had her on the show, we made it clear, as an ambassador for AANR, you have to do all of this, and 3 times a month, submit something on the log, or however you work that out, for an entire year, and then you get the next year for free. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of them. We've been talking to them at the meeting when we mentioned that. And a lot of them are like, well, we're not doing it for the membership. We're doing it because we love AANR. And that's the best response. Honestly, that's the best way to take it, is I'm not doing it for financial gain. I'm doing it because this organization is amazing. I back it. I believe in it. AANR has to stay thriving. It's the backbone of being a nudist.
Yeah, and that is a very good point, because very few people volunteer to get a payback. They volunteer because they want to help the organization or help people, and I guess their payback is more intrinsic. Like, I feel great about this because now I have 5 people who have joined AANR or whatever, but it's not a concrete monetary payment, because then it's not really volunteering anymore, if that's the reason you're doing it. And membership, I think right now is $65.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, depending on, you can
and
get
that's
a discount.
Not very much.
No.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to bust tail for an entire year for $65, well, nobody's going to do that. They'll do it for free, and they'll do it for $1 million, but they're not going to do it for 65. So you're right. The people who step forward will have their hearts in the right places. And do you have a kickoff date for when you'll actually send the initial ambassadors out?
We don't actually have a kickoff date. We're kind of sending them a little bit here and there now. I mean, they don't have their swag yet, because that's going to come very shortly. We're, like I said, we're getting the name spellings correct, and if you want your middle initial, if you want your junior on the back or whatever, all those things. And so we're working on the badges right now at the office. The office is working on that. And then I would say as soon as they got their badges, they could start trickling out and start doing the work. Yeah. And so whenever the badges get out, which I would say would be in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. You have on the AANR site, AANR.com, an ambassador handbook. So these people, other than meetings with you, they're not just going out there and trying to figure this thing out. It's in the handbook how to do this, right?
Yeah, we have the handbook, and then we also have the ambassador Facebook group, and then we
Oh,
also have the ambassador Naturist Hub group. And so we're going to stay in constant contact with our ambassadors. So if something happens on the ground, like something positive or something negative, that there will always be some sort of leadership there to answer questions right now.
mm-hmm.
And so they're not just on their own. We're building a community and a team of people that have the same desire for our club. So it isn't like they're just going to be bye, see you later. Yeah, we're hoping to create friendships and community and partnerships. The ambassadors during our meeting asked if we could share ambassador information with the ambassadors, like phone number, email. So if you have like 4 people in the Midwest and they're the ambassadors, they can kind of work together on what events to do separate or what events to do together if it's a big like 2 or 3 day event. That way you can rotate things in. And so we are going to do that. I sent out the confidentiality letter for all of them to sign, and then I'm asking permission from all of them, like just say no if you don't want your information shared. I don't need 15 yeses, I just need
Right.
a couple of no's. Or hopefully everybody says yes, and then as soon as I get all the confidentiality letters back and everybody agrees, I'm gonna give all the ambassador each other's information to each other, which they're in the Facebook group as well. They could private message each other and talk as well,
Yeah.
and one-on-one give your personal information.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be really good. And
Yeah.
it sounds like you have it
Yeah.
all laid out because you get out there and say, well, this didn't work. Let me get on the Facebook group. Hey, I had this today. What did you
Yes.
do? And somebody might have already encountered that. And next time out, they'll be more successful. Now, on the page, it does ask, what is in it for ambassadors? And we've already talked about the second. Well, I guess we've talked about both, but a free year in AANR after you've fulfilled 1 year of volunteering. But the other one, I'll just read it, even though you've mentioned it already. To get people to help people understand how embracing naturism and nude recreation has enhanced your life and provided connection to a vibrant and a welcoming community of friendly people. Now, as I've talked to people at AANR, the higher up we go, the more information we get. And I've asked this question, okay, I love going to the nude beach. I hang out at the nude resort. I'm always naked in my backyard pool. Why do I need to join AANR? And part of the answer I was given, you already mentioned GAC, the government affairs team, sometimes takes up to 80% of the budget for our
Yes.
privileges to maintain. I guess we don't call them rights yet, we call them privileges, but to maintain those. Otherwise, they'll be taken away one way or
Yeah.
the other, not necessarily intentionally all of the time, but even accidentally losing a privilege is a big deal. So that's a big part of why you want to join AANR is to protect. Yeah, I love to hang out at the beach and the resort in my backyard. Well, AANR helps to protect that, right?
Yeah. 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 Protect, promote, and preserve. The
That's a
3
good way.
Ps.
Yeah. And I talked to the executive director, Eric Shutoff, and he was talking about a case that I think made the papers. A guy was walking on the beach just south of NASA, where NASA is, and he had his daughter with him, and he got arrested simply for being on the nude beach with his daughter. And apparently nothing untoward was happening, nothing nefarious, just a dad and his daughter. I don't know if the mom was there or not, but AANR stepped right in, and they got, and that's a federal claim at that point because it's on federal land. So you're not playing around with a small time judge; you're playing with the big guys and gals. And Eric and his team managed to get those charges dismissed, as they should have been dismissed because they never should have been
Yes.
brought forth to begin with. But
Yes.
if this particular dad didn't have AANR in his back pocket fighting the fight for him, who knows how that would have turned out, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It could have ended terribly for their family,
Yeah.
financially, and losing the parental rights of their child. Yeah.
Mhm.
AANR is huge. It is huge in protecting us. It's important. And I think a lot of people just don't understand how important it is and how much time and how much money it takes watching every single bill that goes through, looking for the teeny tiny words that, like, you can't photograph a small child. I get that. I get that. Don't photograph a small child. But if you're at a nudist resort and you're a small child happens to be in the background, you don't want to be arrested and have charges against you. Which also caveat: do not take pictures in clubs. That's
Right,
always
right.
a no-no. But anyways, like if you were the photographer that has the official rights for that club or that event or whatever, and you happen to get a child in the background, which should, you know what I'm saying? Or like even if you did like the Gerber videos or the commercials or that sun tanning copper tone with the little girl and the dog and her diaper, even those, I mean, that is still child photography. And it's, yeah, you have to be really careful with wording because it sounds okay when somebody's writing it. Like if somebody's writing a bill and they're like, oh, yeah, we need to protect the children. This sounds all good. But then you look at the big picture and it's like, wait a minute, that can affect a lot of trickle down. And we have to protect the trickle down.
And that's a very good point. And that's what happens is they're not necessarily going after us. They're going after some other element in society, such
Yeah.
as the nefarious places. But if they use the word naked or nude in it, then we might get caught up in it. And that's a big part of what Tim Mullins does. He's the director of GATT, and also Eric
Yeah.
and everybody else involved is they head that off at the pass, because if you let it go and it goes into law, it's, I don't want to say impossible, but nearly impossible to get a law changed once it's in. And so you want to prevent it from getting passed, because then it becomes case law as well for the next dad who gets caught with his daughter. Oh, we did this in Florida, therefore you're going to jail too. And so that's the big mission, is to erase all that stuff before it becomes law, right?
Yeah. Be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah.
It's way easier.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. The very terrific Jenny Agee. She's one of the 7 AANR trustees. She's also very involved in AANR Northwest. And on next Saturday's show, which will be episode 175, part 2 with Jenny Agee. And before we head for the hills until Wednesday's show, let's bring back in our Naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Welcome back, Lisa.
It's good to be back, and I can tell you something. After listening to all the things that Jenny does, I'm tired. I don't know about her, but I'm tired.
Oh, no.
What?
She's not tired at all. She's the
No.
Energizer Bunny with fresh batteries next to her, ready to go.
No, I'm just extremely impressed that she's taken on that much for Naturism and for AANR. And the thing about it is it's really hard to get people to spend the kind of time that she does and Linda does and so many other people do for AANR. And so volunteering is really tough. But once you do it, if you say you're going to do it, jump in with both feet, because I don't care if you're getting paid or not, it is still a responsibility. And
Oh, yes.
Jenny has lived up to that immensely. Possibly she's, lived up to it for more than 5 people that are involved. So I'm impressed and enjoyed listening to her and love the enthusiasm and just how much she cares about naturism.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, extremely so. And we could use more Jennies out there, or whatever your name is, and just volunteer and give your heart and soul to AANR and the naturism cause. And she does that. And we'll have part 2 of my interview with Jenny Agee on next Saturday's show. But in between now and then, you and I are getting together next Wednesday. Are you ready to rock and roll for that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure we'll have something to say.
There is a tendency here to not have issues with finding things to talk about. Have you noticed that?
I have noticed that. We have a tendency to do that at all times. So I guess it's a good thing if you're going to do this kind of a situation and do a podcast. You never run out of words.
Well, Lisa Monroe, let's head for the hills. And if you promise to stay naked as a jaybird, no clothes within 20 feet of you throughout the next few days, we'll see you on Wednesday's show. How about that?
I'll be here, and I promise. Take care, everyone.
Well, you've been listening to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 173 today. We give you a brand new show every Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, and on most Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern Time. Continue to join us. Check us out on our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com, Spotify, Google, Amazon/Audible, Apple Podcasts, and also on Twitter. You can write us anywhere, anytime, any place. And we thank you for being with us today. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here, and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked Nudists and Naturists.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked Nudists and Naturists. Have a great clothes-free day.